Apologies are an integral part of human relationships. It betters both people and creates harmony. Apologies can be of two forms. One, which is an apology that you give for the sake of ending a conflict. You don't believe that you should be apologizing, but you oblige into it yourself. The other is a true heartfelt apology. I'm hoping that's what you're here with. When preparing to apologize, it's very important to be aware of the type of response you want from the apology. And right from the start, let me tell you that it is wrong to keep any expectations of a return apology or of any forgiveness. This cannot be your intention. And if it is, you must change it. A sincere apology is very good for the soul. It can bring relief, particularly if you have guilt over your actions. An apology alone doesn't erase the hurt or make it okay, but it does establish that you know your actions or words were wrong. As I've mentioned before across many sessions, mistakes and apologies are not a one-size-fits-all. It is in fact a very vast and diluted, complicated area of study. The mistake and apology process. To keep it simple, without getting into the psychological and philosophical jargon, mistakes are made because you didn't care. You didn't care about the other person, and you didn't care enough about yourself to think it through and what the consequences of your actions would lead to. And depending on the size and frequency of your mistake, you will have to assess that the person receiving the apology may not want it. Refusing to accept an apology from you affirms you that the subject is closed. There will be no more discussion or no more talk on this. And in that case, soon after comes the death of that relationship. And if that's something you don't want, it is important to work tirelessly and fearlessly and dedicatedly on your apology. Now remember, your mistake or mistakes were good enough for the other person to believe you are not even worth a chance for an apology. That means that your apology too has to be good enough to reverse everything they ever thought about you. Okay? If your situation hasn't gotten to this point of complication yet, then I congratulate you and I ask you to please take action and address your smaller apologies that need to be made so that it does not get to this point. Okay? You can hop over to the video that shows up at the end of this screen for where I discussed 4 different steps of making an effective apology in situations where the relationships are not that damaged and can still be mended. This session here is for the serious defaulters, the ones that lost all the chances to apologize, or that the other person just does not want to hear it anymore. In order to apologize effectively, you need to develop the capacity to control your emotions and stay humble and focused on the experience of the other person. Even if you are seething inside or unsettled with guilt, it's not easy to do, especially when emotions are hot. If you feel like emotions might get the best of you, you need more time to prepare. You really only get one chance to make an apology without coming across as aggressive or as excessive. So you need to know how to handle it. So what to do in a situation such as these? You've tried everything perhaps, but nothing seems to nudge their decision. In this case, it's important to know how much of resistance you should accept, after which you take a step back or retract your efforts of apologizing. The process and persistence of apologizing is very different from relationship to relationship. In some instances, you have to be immediate and persistent, or else results will be negative. In other relationships, you have to be cautious, patient, loving, caring, and quiet, or else your results will be negative. So let's understand who exactly you are apologizing to at the moment. If the person you are apologizing to is a co-worker or a subordinate or someone you meet every day, then it's okay to back off if you get cold vibes after your second attempt to mend things. And don't feel guilty about it either. Of course, taking into consideration that whatever it is that you're apologizing for is trivial and not anything serious. If it's something very serious, then it's best you really stay away from that person if they refuse to accept your apology. And if you truly want to apologize to this person out of shame for something you did to them and they are avoiding you, the moral thing to do would be to change your job or at least your department. If the remorse of your actions is genuine, then this is what you must do. If the person you need to apologize to is someone you come across periodically, like a neighbor or another person at your gym or at your favorite deli, then your apology can be once or twice, after which you can drop the subject and drop any guilt that you have with it. Of course, again, in this case, the mistake should have been trivial. Even if it was out of spite that maybe you trashed your neighbor's mail because it kept coming to your door, or you yelled at the local deli guy for constantly hiking his prices up. These are and should be easily overlooked by the victim, as it could be categorized as you just having a bad day, and that should not consume much of your energy focusing on why they will not accept your apology. Now, if the person you need to apologize to is a family member, a parent, a sibling, or an aunt, or a grandparent, then it is important to be dedicated to having a dialogue with this person, considering you can still reach out to them via messaging. Send short and thoughtful personal messages. Till that family member is willing to break, keep doing this. It's okay. You share the same blood with them. Don't be persistent or consistent in your messages of penitence, but make it worth it when you do. Also, do note that I have not mentioned your child as part of this group. If you have fallen off with your child, then please go check out my other videos in which I talk about how to mend relationships, broken relationships between parents and children. Let me give you some examples of how you can reach out to close family members who have distanced themselves and don't want your apology. Find the right moment and send the message. You saw them at church or at a mosque or at a mall or on the street. Send them a small message giving them a reason to smile. You know what you must say to them. They are your family. Or if you don't get the opportunity to bump into them, then constantly develop good thoughts about them. If they're important enough to you that you are determined to rebuild a relationship, then they clearly occupy a certain amount of time in your mind during the week. Keep those thoughts positive and be patient. You will feel the right moment, and then you can send another message, and you will get a response over time if you space out your messages every month or 3 weeks and make your messages light. Bring a smile to their face with a photo of a place you are both fond of or an old inside joke. You can do it. Don't stress too much. That person will re-enter your life if you drop your ego, if you're sincerely remorseful and you are a bit patient. Don't apologize in your messages. They will understand and respect that what you are doing is a form of dignified apology, which is good for the both of you. Once you meet them, tell them how you feel and how you've learned from it, and thank them. If the person you are trying to apologize to is a spouse or a partner and there's no reaction, no response, or maybe they've even totally ghosted you, walked out on you, then there are bigger problems that what a simple apology can fix. Okay, your apology has been heard and rejected. Now, what you need to do is give them their space, give them their time, respect that they can't deal with you right now, and remember these 3 rules constantly, especially at moments when your emotions get the better of you. Be patient. Accept the fact that you've done damage, and now here are the consequences. Admit to yourself, I broke it and it will take time to fix it. The person just can't trust you again, and it will take time to build trust. Number 2, keep loving them. Don't let their responses and reactions reduce your love. Don't make excuses to yourself saying you tried to reach out, you asked for forgiveness, but there was no care in their reaction. Don't have the thoughts about what you did to them is nothing compared to what they are doing to you right now. In that case, you will become resentful as time goes by. Don't listen to the voices in your head that say, it's not that big of a deal that I can't yet be forgiven. Don't play the mental tricks on yourself that you don't have to love them anymore. It's the easier thing to do because finding a new partner and starting over is very simple. There's nothing to be broken there. That means you can't be wounded by your partner anymore. But that's not the right thing to do. They probably loved you and stood strong by you till the point where you gave them enough reason to reject your apology. Now you must do the same and stand strong and love them, even if it's one sided love for the moment. If this apology is so important to you, then you must bear the suffering that comes with it. Number three, fight resentment, fight negative thoughts, pray for them regularly. It's important. And pray for yourself. It's important. It's easy to beat ourselves up in these situations, but if you are being patient and if you are being loving, you are doing the right thing in the midst of a storm, and you should not beat yourself over it. Just remember, the story is not over until you give up. You can write the story of your life exactly how you imagine it, as long as it has enough love and patience in there that everyone can live in ease and peace and security. So if you want to be forgiven, or at least have a fair shot at giving an apology, then follow these 3 steps, because this can fix things. All 3 of them are important. Sure, it hurts. Sure, the insecurity of getting them back or not is nerve-wracking. But what's worse is being weak over their silence. You've already given them the chance to beat you down even before you make another attempt. If that's the case, then your apology is not sincere and not being completely regretted, and the only reason you are asking for their forgiveness and approval is because your ego is hurt. Once you are forgiven, you'll be back to your old tricks again. There, I said it. And if I'm wrong and your remorse is real and your apology is genuine, but you just don't know how to express yourself anymore, then here's what I'm going to tell you. You have to be ready for this, because either you never heard it before, or then you've heard it so much that it's just another cliche anecdote. But I'll say it anyways because it's the truth. If you've made a mistake and a partner does not want to trust you or forgive you anymore, then this is your indicator. It's time to let go, thinking about how you can fix the relationship, and you need to turn the focus completely on yourself, and you need to think about how to fix yourself first. The time for change has arrived, and you are being given the message loud and clear. What's being said to you, that it's no more about forgiveness. It's no more about just stopping this one habit. It's more about change. You need to take a step back and reevaluate yourself. What's being said to you is change. Change for your own good. Change before you lose more people. Change before you lose yourself. I have covered many sessions on change and transformation for you to select from. Transform and become a person no one imagined. You have to be grateful at this moment, because the rejection and pain that you have received is the key to the door of self-evaluation. Once you are brave enough to self-evaluate yourself truly through the lessons of this pain and what it's trying to teach you, then you begin working on yourself, carving and crafting yourself tirelessly every day. You become obsessed with your change that nothing else matters. And while doing all this, you secretly know that the reason behind your motivation and discipline is love. Whether you get the opportunity to get your forgiveness or not, whether the person who opened your eyes to reality will open their eyes to you or not, whether you go through the remainder of your life with happiness or regrets on this issue, whether whatever happens, your quest from here on is to seek self-forgiveness and help others to understand and heal what you have understood. You will come out of this better. You will come out of this a winner. And from here on, whoever you decide to be with will get a better version of you. During this rejection period, work on yourself only. Don't hold on to stories. Don't harbor resentment to being rejected. Don't feel bummed out that you've been embarrassed. Okay? Be patient. Be true to yourself. work on yourself, and don't stop loving the person who woke you up. I like to believe that there's more good in this world than evil, and that we live in a good place, and that most people, especially ones that you've shared a close bond with, will, with the right time and the right space given, accept or at least acknowledge your apology. Keep the faith, follow the advice. I don't promise you it's going to be easy, but I do promise you it's going to be worth it. Be safe, be patient, be positive, and keep moving in the right direction.